am live. I am live. Welcome to the Solution Podcast, guys. I just got married. I just got married. So, what are we talking about here today? We are talking about I just got married. Is my wife going to divorce me now that I'm married? All right. So now that I'm married, am I worried that my wife is going to divorce me? All right, now let's take a quick shot actually. Salute. Mm. All right. Am I worried that my wife is going to divorce me? The answer to that question is no. And the reason why is because my wife isn't a modern woman. It's very simple, guys. If you marry a modern woman, expect modern outcomes. It's really that simple. It's 1 + 1 = 2. It's that simple. If you marry a modern woman, expect modern outcomes. If you marry a traditional woman, expect traditional outcomes. I don't know why that's so difficult for people to understand. I really don't get it. That's the reason why I'm not worried. Because the likelihood of you um get of your wife divorcing you, if you if you guys believe, if you two believe in traditional outcomes, in religious values, is very low. The divorce rate amongst religious sectors is extremely low when you compare it to the secular sector, which is where most people are these days anyway, unfortunately. But yeah, so modern women produce modern outcomes. Traditional women produce traditional outcomes. Religious women produce religious outcomes. It's really that simple, guys. All right. So for those that say there's no such thing, where you're gonna find these traditional women, blah blah blah, change your circles, change your morals. Your morals probably don't align with traditional circles. That's the reason why you can't find any. You're not gonna find a traditional woman in a club. You're not gonna find them in carnival. You're not gonna find them in places where promiscuity is being promoted. You're not gonna find them in there. It all comes down to moral values. It all comes down to moral values. By the way, I'm Catholic and we don't believe in divorce either. So I got married in the church. Um, and according to the church, you can separate. If things get really bad, you can separate, but divorce is not allowed. So yeah, because what God has joined, no man can separate, and so on and so forth. So I'm Catholic, so divorce is out of the picture. So that's not going to happen anyway. All right. But regardless, Catholic or not, when you look at the religious sectors, regardless of what religion it is, you'll see that the divorce rate is extremely low. And the reason for that is because of moral values. Okay, let's unpack modern values. I wouldn't even go as far as calling them values. I'm being nice when I call them values. Really and truly, it's degeneracy, isn't it? It's degeneracy. There is no such thing as modern values. Because if to say it's a value, it's like saying, it's a good thing. And there's nothing about how modern people live that's good. Like this is why modern relationships, which is primarily based on the feminist ideology, you know, equal partnerships, we are partners, we both equal, we both work. They don't work. They don't work. We've seen marriage steadily declining since the 1960s or 1970s. Marriage has been steadily declining. If this idea of equality and partnership worked, what we would see marriages increasing. But that's not what we see. We see marriages declining, we see birth rates declining. Okay, let's get back to moral modern modern values. Modern values comes down to um being okay with promiscuity. Most people that hold those modern values are okay with being promiscuous, engaging in hookup culture. They are okay with the sexualization of children. They are okay with abortion. They are okay with they the type of people that usually say things like marriage is just a piece of paper. They are okay with not getting married and so on and so forth. So when we look at modern values, we can see that they are not good when it comes down to forming a family, when it comes down to um, establishing and leaving a legacy behind. That's the problem with modern values. When you look at modern values, and the whole idea behind modern values is just me, what makes me happy. They are willing, a person that holds modern values, they are willing to sacrifice family, they're willing to sacrifice everything so that they themselves are happy. For their happiness. Their happiness comes first, not the family, not their husbands or wives and so on. It's their happiness. They have no concept of sacrificing something for something greater. To them is my happiness. That is that is what's great. That is what's amazing. So if I have to break up the family, if I have to abort that child, if I have to whatever it takes, I will do it in order for me to basically be happy. All right, my happiness comes first. It's a selfish mind state. This is why modern relationships don't work, and this is why I made sure when I got married I didn't marry a woman that believed in modern values. I married a woman that believed um in religious traditional values. All right. And so no, I'm not worried that she's going to divorce me, break up the family, because when you believe in religious values, the family comes first. When you believe in religious values, the your legacy comes first, and you're willing to sacrifice whatever you're willing to sacrifice in order to achieve that, whatever it takes, in order to make sure that your family grows up to be strong, grows up to be successful, you know, grows up to be moral. You're willing to do whatever it takes, in order to make sure that um, you know the outcome of your family is successful, the outcome of your legacy is successful, because you live for something greater than yourself. You know, so that's the difference between people that believe in religious values and people that really believe in modern values. Modern values are just not conducive to the creation of family. They're not conducive to anything, to be honest with you. Now, the red pill would have people believe as there's no such things as in the current Western world where we live today. There's no such thing as you know women that are virgins and believe in religions. The idea is that all modern women, all women of today, because of feminism, and that's true. That's true. Feminism, man. Feminism has destroyed so much. My God, it has destroyed so many lives, so many women lives, so many families. Look, yes, most people are subscribing to the feminist ideology without even realizing it. Consciously and unconsciously, they are. All right. Um, but the idea that there is no such thing as religious women, or women that believe in religious values, is a lie. There are 2.2 billion Christians in the world. I think it's 2.2 or 2.1. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, So the idea that there's no such thing as traditional women, the idea there's no such thing as religious women, the reason why these people can't even find these women is because of their own modern values, meaning their morality. They don't have those moral values. That's why they don't look out for them, because people that hold religious values are used. They usually don't go clubbing. They usually don't do all the things that modern people with modern values would do. So they don't usually rub shoulders with people that don't hold their values. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Yeah? Does that make sense to you guys? Hold on, let me just fix my hat. Yeah, does that make sense to you guys? Yeah. So the issue here is, what do you believe in? What are your morals? Because depending on your answer, that's what will determine um what your relationship is going to be like, what kind of people you surround yourself with. If you believe in if you believe in sleeping around, you're probably going to be surrounded by women that are promiscuous, and you're probably going to be looking you're probably going to be seeking after that. All right, that's just the truth of the matter, guys. That's just the truth of the matter. If you surround yourself, if you believe in sleeping around, if you believe in, if you believe in violence, for example, you're going to be in places where violence is prominent, you know and that's how it works. That's how it works. All right, so you have to change your moral values if you want to find a good woman. It starts with yourself. It doesn't start with the world around you. And I have a question, right? I have a question. Actually, no, 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 no. I'm gonna leave that. I'm gonna leave that for a little bit later. But yeah, it starts with you. What you believe in. What you believe in will determine your choices, and your choices will determine the consequences you are going to face. It's really that simple. All right. So change your moral values, and your choices you know, will reflect that, and the consequences will also reflect that. All right. And usually, if you change your moral values for religious values, which are good values, um, what you will find is you'll find yourself in circles where there's more religious people. So immediately, what you're getting is the chances are increasing now. They are increasing now for you to find, that woman that will not divorce you, that woman that aligns with your belief system, and so on and so forth. Okay, so that's how it works. All right. So once you change your moral values, your choices will also change, which means the outcomes will also change. It's that simple. Now, if you don't want to do that, then don't complain. Don't complain when she divorces you. Don't complain when she breaks up the family. Don't complain. You should have looked at yourself in the mirror. Now, what Michael Jackson said on that. You got to look at yourself in the mirror first. What, you didn't notice she was a hoe? Is that what you're telling me? You didn't know? She didn't show any signs. What about the fact that she wasn't a virgin? That should have been the first clue. You see, there's no accountability. There's no accountability. The fact is, everything starts with you. The fact that people are not looking at themselves in the mirror and saying, "Oh my God, what do I believe in?" If you believe in sleeping around, if you believe in going clubbing, if you believe in traveling abroad, living a certain type of life, well, that comes with consequences. What I'm saying is, be true to yourself, man. Be true to yourself. Look at yourself and ask yourself, did I make the right moral choice? And if you haven't, Well, you just have to deal with the consequences of it. Most men today, I call them modern men, by the way. We like to talk about modern women, but the truth is this: we have a bunch of modern men out here, all right, making living modern lifestyles and then complaining when they get modern consequences. That's the problem. That's the problem with a lot of these that's the problem with a lot of these men. They are making bad moral decisions because they themselves want to live a lustful lifestyle. That's really is. And look at the sex industry. Who funds the entire sex industry? It's men. We like to talk about I'm not here to blame men. Women are also responsible for their choices. They're not innocent in any of this by any means. But the truth is this: men, we are supposed to be the leaders, right? Aren't we the leaders? If we are the leaders, then we need to lead. And how do we lead? It starts morally first. We lead morally first. Change your moral values. Stop funding the sex industry. Stop liking these girls' pictures on Instagram. Stop doing that. When you do that, you give these girls incentive to keep sexualizing themselves. Why? Because women are interested in attention and resources from men. So who's a sweaty girl? I think in general, everyone's more lustful these days. The world's gone mad. Yeah, it's true, bro. It is absolutely true. It's absolutely true. Everyone is lustful these days because of the sexual revolution. The sexual revolution, which feminism fought for, all right? What do you guys think um the creation of the pill was about? It was to enable women to carry on living, a lustful lifestyle. What do you think the legalization of abortion was about? And then after that, the sexual revolution comes about. Without the pill and the legalization of abortion, without those two things, you couldn't have the sexual revolution. You couldn't have society promoting the sexualization of children, promoting this hedonism the way it does today. You wouldn't have any of that without the pill and the legalization of abortion, because those things took away the consequence. That's what it did. Okay, there are consequences when you have sex. All right, and a woman now has the option to kill that baby, which means she can avoid the consequences of her actions. That's what enabled the hookup culture. This is what we currently have today. But men are enabling it more when they fund it, when they like these girls' pictures on Instagram. Am I lying? No, I'm not. I'm not lying. It's true. It's actually sickening to think about it. Men simping online. We are so lustful. Is it any wonder that these women are almost naked in gyms? These days you can't even go to the gym. They're practically naked. Sorry, but I think it's so important to have the pill and abortions legal for several reasons. But the biggest being the child's welfare. I get that it makes the whole hookup culture easier for people. Bro, if it makes the hookup coach or if it makes the hookup culture easier for people, then it can't be good. The pill enables that. The abortion, the legalization of abortion enables that. Because if you were to make that illegal today, the pill and the abortion, women would be thinking twice about their actions. They'll be like, you know what? Let's say take government assistance. Take government assistance. That means if a woman gets pregnant, she's going to have to deal with the consequences of her own actions. Take away make abortion illegal. Make what do you call it, the pill illegal. women would think twice before they go around sexualizing themselves and being promiscuous, because they know that one of the consequences of that, or of that behavior, is children. Is children. And if she doesn't have the correct support system around her, how is she going to cope? How is she going to take care of that child? We need to get rid of abortion, bro. We need to get rid of the pill. As long as these two things are around, women can be as promiscuous as they want, as they are today. And that's the problem. And men, we are so lustful. We are so lustful, man. We are so lustful. I can expand on welfare. Swati Godfrey said, I can expand on the welfare if you want. I don't mind, but please don't forget there are other reasons that people abort. Could be because of sexual abuse, or it could be that they don't have the correct. Okay. Yes, yes, my brother. Um, all right. I've heard this argument before. What I would say is this. Now, we know that 98% of abortions support, don't forget, most cultures shun sex before. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. There's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. Because what comes with hookup culture is single motherhood. That's what comes with hookup culture, bro. Single motherhood. The single mother culture, this single mother culture that we currently have now that's rising, okay, it's detrimental to children. It's destroying kids. It's destroying the next generation. So most abortions, 98% of abortions are done because a woman, um, uh, you know, it doesn't align with their lifestyles. That's where most abortions come from. Only a very small minority is to do with, grape allegations, sorry, grape and so on and so forth. I think it's like even less than 1%. But let's say we got rid of, you know, it's like you could only have an abortion if you were great. I still don't agree with that. I still don't believe that. I would say that the baby's innocent, give it up for adoption. That's what I would say. But don't she went through something horrific. That guy should be put in jail, should stay there for the rest of his life. But the child is innocent. The child does not deserve the life of a child does not deserve to be taken away. If she can't cope, fine. I understand that. Give it up for Piggy, right? Now let's say we said it's only legal if you've been great. 98% of children would survive today, would survive abortions today. That's what that would mean. But yeah, but hookup culture, bro, hookup culture is what allows for all the problems that we currently have in society right now. Marriage, but people do enter into sexual relations. Unfortunately, they do, bro. They do marry the person. Marriage, but people do enter into sexual relations before marriage, and they do marry the person. It's not always that people enter sexual relationships with several people. I would argue since the decline of marriage, since the decline of I'm agreeing that hookup culture is fucked, and I don't agree with it at all. Good, 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 good. Um, marriage yeah, people enter into sexual relationship before marriage, and they do marry the person. I would argue that people are entering in sexual relationships before marriage, and they're a lot of them are not actually marrying before, yes, but now people are not actually getting married because because marriage rates has declined, and it's continuously declining, so they're obviously not getting married. Do they sometime before would they getting married after they entered in sexual relationship? Yes. But is it getting worse or is it getting better? It's getting worse. People are not getting married. They're not. They simply are not. And that's just the truth. And it's going to as long as abortion is here, as long as the pill is here, um as long as government aid is here, this hookup culture is going to continue to destroy the family unit. People take sex for people take sex for granted. They do, They do it hoping for no pregnancy or STI. They do. Oh, shout out to Rashid, my guy. People take sex for granted. They do it hoping for no pregnancy or STI. Yeah. Of course, bro. Of course, they do take sex for granted. Look at what you have in place. You don't. You can kill a child. You have that option. So of course, people take sex for granted. STIs, that they can sort that out. As a woman, I'm openly admitting that a lot of women these days are not wife material. I see and hear the wildest nonsense coming out of other women's mouth, and yes, marriage is declining. Yes, they are not wife materials because of the values that these women are aligning themselves with. The moral values are very important. You people need to look in the mirror and say, what do I believe in? What are my moral values? And a lot of these women today, they believe in this hookup culture, in modern values, in feminine, I call them feminist values. So and those values are not conducive to family creation and legacy. Basically, they don't want any consequences. Yeah, of course. That's why the pill was invented. And I know the history behind it. Feminism is the one that came up with it. Margaret Sanger. All right. Yeah, there are no values. They don't want no consequences. And yet the values are completely dead. This is why it's so important for men to check themselves first, find out what they believe in, what are their moral values, and align with women that have those moral values, because those women do exist. And that despite of what the red pill likes to, the red pill likes to basically say, oh, there's no good women out there. All these women are hoes and all these women are whores and all of that type of stuff. That's a lie. These women do exist. All right. They do exist. They do exist. It's just that the people saying that, these are the guys that are so lustful. They basically want to go out and basically sleep around. That's what it is. All right. That's why they're coming from that angle, because the values that they aligning themselves with are not putting them in circles where these women exist. So in their heads, they think these women don't exist, but that's because they want to hang around in that type of circle. All right. Um, okay. Yeah, that's the thing though. These days, no one's talking to get to know each other. They talking to have sex and move on to the next one. That's men and women. I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree. Back in the days, there was no such thing as dating. A woman didn't date back in the days. What would happen is the man would come to the house, he would express his interest for he would basically want to speak to the father, and then he would express his interest. He would say, look, I'm interested in your daughter, blah blah blah. The father would speak to the daughter, and then the father and the daughter would make a decision. He would speak to him, he would vet him, he would make sure there was no such thing as dating just basically means casual sex. That's what dating really is. If we're going to be all the way honest about dating to marry, no. I personally reckon that um your father should be vetting the men that you are interested in getting married to. That's what that's what I personally think. Because I'm sorry to say it, man. I don't see women making the best decisions. When I look at society today, I don't see women making the best decisions when it comes to picking or selecting a mate to have a long-term relationship with. Um, Nobody likes taking the pill anyway because the side effects are horrible. They use other methods like injection. It's true. Yeah. So I'm from a culture where we have arranged marriages. I believe in that, not to be mistaken by forced marriages. And there's nothing wrong with it. I dated my husband for about 5 years before we got married. Well done. Well done. Congratulations to you. I just got married yesterday. Um, no, no, this was the 21st, and it was today's date. um, yeah, no one likes taking the pill anyway because the side effects are how they use it. Bro, regardless, the thing is they have allowed them to have these methods. That's the problem. They shouldn't be these methods shouldn't even exist in the first place. Okay. Any method that allows a woman not to get pregnant is basically taking the consequence away from her actions. That's basically what it is. And yeah, I absolutely agree with you, Swati. Arranged marriages is not forced marriages at all. But in the West, they started this propaganda, tried to make arranged marriages look bad. Arranged marriage is actually a very good thing. We need to bring arranged marriages back if we are to save the West. But your morals have to change. You can't be a modern person with modern values believing that you're going to have traditional outcomes. It just doesn't work like that at all. Um, Well done. But he met my family and I met his from like the second month. Now we have been together 10 years. You see, Swati, the reason why is because you came from a culture that believes in that. You came from a culture that has those that possesses those moral values. That's the reason. This is why I keep going back to moral values. When you lose your moral values, yeah, you follow trends. When you lose your moral values, you do immoral things. This is why people have to check their values. You come from a culture that has those values, that believes in marriage, that believes in the importance of marriage, that does not believe in the hookup culture. You come from that culture. That's why you were able to move the way you move. That's why you were able to meet the family on the second month, get married. You see what I'm saying? Prioritize marriage over trying to live this dating lifestyle and so on and so forth. But what happens to a lot of us is when people come to the West or to the Western world, what tends to happen is they get sucked into this feminist culture, and this culture that does not believe in marriage, does not believe in morals. You can do whatever you want to do as thy will, as long as you're happy. You know what I mean? Oh, thanks, Swati. If I meet a girl, like, do I have to ask to meet her father to first before asking for marriage? If I meet a girl, like, do I have to ask to meet her father to first before asking for? Yeah, of course, yeah. If you meet a girl you like, the idea is you speak to her father first, and then the father will speak to the daughter, and then they will make a decision. The father will vet you, and then you guys then if everyone agrees, then you can, then you meet each other's families, and then you plan the day of marriage, and then that's the right way of doing things. Rash, you're married, laughing out loud. These days, guys come and ask for women's hand in marriages. I know Gerbs asked my dad, even though we were dating, and that was the plan from day. I did ask her dad, thanks. I did the right thing too. But this whole propaganda that USPO is uncultured and are backward has me creasing. Yeah. No, I'm on a train in the middle of nowhere, so I'm lagging behind this live chat. Oh my days. Yeah, I would argue that the West is completely uncultured. I would argue that the West is completely immoral. I would argue that the West is completely backwards. I mean, they're not even creating enough of their own population to replace themselves. If that's not backward, if that's not uncultured, if that's not immoral, then I don't know what it is. Whenever you see marriages declining in declining in a society, whenever you see childbirth declining in a society, what that basically means is that that society is in the decline, is heading towards self-destruction. That's what that means. That's what that means. Whenever you see a society um uh promoting the idea that it's not about marriage is not that important. Look at no fault divorce. They've legalized no fault divorce, making it even easier to get a divorce. It's a joke now. It really is. It's a joke. Um, and but yeah, again, it comes down to moral values. I got married. Yeah, jump in, bro. Bro, my days. Hold on. How do I get you to jump in, man? Private chat. Yeah, let me answer that for you. What took not my business, but I'm naturally curious. What took you so long to get married, Octavio? Living in sin. I was living in sin. Uh, hold on a second. Let me just send this email. Rashid, let me know when you want to jump in. Yeah, I'm gonna try and send you the link. But yeah, Swati, yeah, living in sin. For a very long time. Um, I was doing. I wasn't the best of people. I was engulfed in this culture that I now speak against because I saw how detrimental it was to my life. So yeah, I was living in sin, doing bad things, and when I met my missus, we kind of got comfortable, you know, and that's something that you can fall into so easily. You can just get comfortable with your missus and not prioritize what's important. And yeah, I had to change and got reconnecting with my moral values, my belief system. I'm a Christian, I'm Catholic. So reconnecting with that's what made me say, you know what, I need to stop doing this. I need to start doing the right thing, basically. But yeah. um actually, you still on the trade, my bad. Yeah, it's okay. Do you know what, Swati? It's okay to make mistakes, but I don't want my children to make my mistakes. I agree with you. It's okay to make mistakes because we have to learn from our mistakes. But I wish I didn't make certain mistakes. I think I would be living a better life if I didn't make certain mistakes. Certain mistakes were just unnecessary. There was no reason for me to make them. What I was doing was wrong. And I don't want my kids to make those mistakes. So I'm going to be on their case and I'm going to make sure they don't make those mistakes. And I know exactly what I need to do in order to make sure they don't go down that path. They get married nice and early, to a good woman, a good man, and they live good lives. I won't be home until another 5 days, bro. But yeah, guys, man. Yeah, today I just wanted to jump in and address this issue. Am I going to get a divorce now that I got married? So is my missus going to divorce me now that I'm married? Because that is what the red pill consistently says to men who believe in traditional religious conservative values. Yeah, once you get married, that's it. She's going to end up divorcing you. And I'm basically here to say no, 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 that's not going to happen because I know the values that I know the woman that I'm with, and the values that she believes in, and I know the values that I believe in. We're both Catholic. We both believe in it. We're both serious about it, um, and yeah, and that's basically it. If you align yourself with people that have your values and they are good values, then the likelihood of you having a long-term marriage is extremely high compared to people that align themselves with modern values. And that's basically the difference. Makes sense. I get that you want to be the right role model for them. What you're doing now is acknowledging what you shouldn't have done and making changes. Nah, she wouldn't, otherwise she wouldn't have bothered marrying you. Huh? No, she wanted to marry me from the very beginning. It's me being lazy and you know not doing the right thing. That was the real issue. But yeah, I'll be damned if my children go down my path. That's never gonna happen. That's never ever 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 gonna happen. I know exactly what I need to do. I know the temptations that this world brings. I know how it led me astray, and I know how to combat that and counteract that. And I'm never ever ever going to allow that to happen to my children. That's just not gonna happen at all. And yeah, now I have another question before I end this live, right? I have another question. People say the red pill says we should just leave it as it is. Like we should operate on what is, not what we think should be. If we continue as we are, what's going to happen to the Western world? If we continue as we are, what do you think is going to happen to the Western world? If we don't change things, what do you think is going to happen? There's going to be what? More abortions. There's going to be what? Less marriages. There's going to be what? More family breakdowns. There's going to be what? Less birth rates. What? How will that impact society in the years to come? This is my question. This is why, to me, it's not what it is. It's not adapting to the current system. It's about changing the system, acknowledging the problem, and changing the system. That's what it really comes down to, and a lot of people don't want to acknowledge that. That's the issue. They don't want to change things around. The red pill says now we need to adapt to the system, to how things are. Well, if that's the case, what will change? Nothing, because you're just adapting to the system. You're surviving in it. Nothing will actually change. Everything is declining as it is. A lot of level-headed people in the Western world are trying hard to learn more about other cultures and turn to them. I agree. What's going to end up happening, Swati, is there's going to be a division. Modern values, people that believe in modern values will die out because they're not reproducing. Um, and those that believe in traditional values or religious values, they'll continue because they believe in reproducing. They believe in marriage. They believe in, you know, so modern values are self-destructive. Well, I think we've got enough evidence now. I think if we look at the last 100 years, we can see that modern values do not are not good for society. They do not create long-term lasting relationships. They do not create nuclear families. They just don't. So this 50-50 ideology, partnership, that type of way of thinking, that type of mentality that comes from feminism does not create uh, families. So if you're not creating family, you're self-destructing because you're not continuing your lineage. But for those that do believe in continuing their lineage, for those that do believe in leaving a legacy behind, they will continue living. For those that don't believe in aborting their children, they will continue to have children. Uh, yes and no. I'm a true crime junkie, and there's some fucked up people having kids and effing them up. Yes, absolutely. But there's also some good people, like the religious types that believe in morals and all of that, that believe in not effing up kids. Right? What I'm saying is those are the ones whose legacy will remain. Those are the ones who will continue to reproduce. Those are the ones who will not die out and will not self-destruct. People that have kids and then they F them up, they usually don't tend to continue having kids. Shout out to the bruh OG1. A lot of modern society dislikes or hates the idea of a god or creator. Absolutely. That's 100% correct. They hate it. They can't stand it. The idea of because the idea of God um entails responsibility, entails accountability. The idea of God entails morality. It goes against the Western world mantra, which is "do as thy will." As long as you're happy, you can do whatever you want to do. There's no consequences. That's why they legalize. That's why they legalized abortions to take away the consequences of people's bad behavior, because they want you to reach the state, this mind state, where you can do whatever you want to do, almost as if you're a god yourself. That's what the West really believes in. The West want people to believe that they are gods. They are in charge of, you know, right and wrong, and they know what is right and they know what is wrong, and they're in charge of life and all of that type of stuff. Yeah. And we can see ever since they gave us that, they allowed us to have the power to kill children. What have we been doing? We've been killing them. It's the biggest Holocaust ever. 78 million per year babies are murdered in the womb. So yeah, the Western world hates the idea of God. The separation of church and state happened in the 1700s. So now it's the state that decides what is right and what is wrong. And this is why we are seeing what we are seeing today. Let's hope and pray the good outweighs the bad in the end, and what you're saying comes true. No, what I'm saying eventually will have to come true, because the good, look, I don't believe in unity. I believe in division. If that family there, if you've got, two people, one believes in aborting their kids and the other one doesn't. One believes in marriage and the other one doesn't. Who's going to survive? The answer is simple. It's the one who doesn't believe in killing their children. They're the ones who are going to survive. Those that believe in killing the children, they're not going to survive. The like, to me, it's clear. Rebuttal: my husband is an atheist, but he's into spirituality and being a good person. I think religious people, myself included, hold ourselves accountable to what our scripture teaches. But you can be an atheist and still understand morality and work towards being a good person. Um, we can all recognize what is good and what is bad, atheist or no atheist. But the difference is, how does an atheist decide what is right and what is wrong? If there is no God, it's him that has to make that decision. And I will always be biased. Now, I believe in God. To me, it's like, regardless of how I feel, God will always, who decides what is a good person? Because in Christianity, we don't have the concept of a good person. We have the understanding that we are sinners, and God is who decides what is good for us. So we don't follow how we feel, we follow what God says. And that's how we determine what is right and what is wrong. Because if I was to if it was up to me, if it was up to me, oh my days, it would be biased, let's just say. Yes, good always, according to scripture, good always defeats evil. Yeah, it's called Judgment Day. And it's coming. It's coming, Swati. It's called Judgment Day. People started to think they are God rather than look for God. That's right. That's why they removed chieftains and kingdoms rather than establishing change of leadership. Absolutely. The creator's word never changes. No, it doesn't. Absolutely. People start to think they are gods, and that's the issue. Do as thy will. People want to be like God. They want to determine what is right and what is wrong. So, in order for you to even reach that mind state, and Swati, going back to you, yeah, you said something about spirituality, believing in spirituality. It's very important to decide what kind of spirituality he's into. Um, and that's, to me, that's very important. That's very important, Swati. What kind of spirituality is he learning? Because there's Christian spirituality, Islamic spirituality, there's Buddhist spirituality, there's many different types of spirituality. Look into what exactly is he following. Um, let's not forget Buddhism is an atheist. Yeah, Buddhism is an atheist religion, but clearly outlines right and wrong that most religions have in the scriptures too. Absolutely. Well, that's called the natural law, Swati. That's called the natural law. Every human being is able to recognize the natural law. We are all able to recognize good and bad. We have that ability. There are things that we all agree with each other. Every religion agrees with each other, pretty much. Even the concept of uh you know love your neighbors, you love yourself, that concept there, that is something that's you know natural in natural law. If I hurt you, you don't want to be hurt, right? So don't hurt others then. Certain things are obvious. Let's not forget but Buddhism is an atheist religion. A lot of people don't even know that they don't have a god. Haha, yes, for you and other religions it's judgment day. For me it's different. Yeah, for us it's judgment day. This evil will have to eventually come to an end, and whoever put us on earth, created us, will eventually hold us accountable, because you can't have good without justice. You need justice. You can't call someone good if they are not just. If they don't consider, can't always be merciful. Justice has to prevail. That's why we have judges and so on. He's sicky. uh he's sick. Okay, I guess. Yeah. He's raised in a sick household. Okay, that's why you had Christians in Japan. Even though they were persecuted and the Western world put them in a bad position, they still served their country in honor. Yep. That's true. That's true. um yeah. Listen, Judgment Day is coming, man. That's the way I see it. Because if you look at how evil this world is or is becoming, it's going to get worse. It's not going to get better. And if there is no justice, then if there is no Judgment Day, then when does it stop? That's the real question. When does it stop? It won't stop. And that's the issue. But yeah, um, whoa, we went into religion. Yeah, but everything comes down to moral values. Everything comes down to what you believe in. That's what determines your choices. That's what determines your outcomes. Now, the bra said, yo, the West hates God. And yes, they want to get rid of the idea of God completely in the West, and make people believe that they themselves are their own gods. That's what's basically happening. So we can, when we become our own gods, we decide what is us that decide what is right and what is wrong. And I think it's very dangerous when a person starts deciding what is right and what is wrong for themselves, because yeah, when you look at the abortions, when you look at Hitler, when you look at Stalin, when you look at all these guys, yeah, that's them deciding what is right and what is wrong for themselves. And it's very dangerous. People do bad things and hide behind religion to do, which is why religion in the Western world is at a decline. Um, but no one's stopping and thinking, let me learn scriptures and not get sidetracked by BS. Um, it doesn't matter whether Swati, it doesn't matter whether you're religious or not religious. That doesn't mean that you can't, like, I couldn't hide behind my scriptures. I just couldn't, because my scriptures condemns me. I couldn't do something that Christ said to not do and then hide behind my scriptures. Who am I fooling? Not God. I'm only fooling myself if I think I can hide behind the scriptures. I can't, because the scriptures condemns my actions. You can't do bad things unless your scripture is in agreement with your bad actions. Then that's different. That's completely different. But if your scriptures is completely against it, then why would you hide behind your scriptures? Your scriptures is just going to condemn you. The colonial West tried to take parts out of books for personal gain. Yeah, they did. They edited 70% of the Bible um in order to they I think they created the slave Bible in order to make black people believe that they should be slaves, but they edited 70% of it. I think it was like 70 or 60% of it, something like that. Most of the Bible was edited in order to make slaves believe in that that they're supposed to that God agrees with slavery. Swati says, I'm not saying that everyone should be religious, but I'm saying that before people forsake religion altogether, they should actually read scriptures. There isn't a single religion on earth. Do you know why people don't read scriptures? Because it holds them accountable. I'm not saying everyone should be saying that before people forsake religion. Um, I think, yeah, I think people, yeah, I agree with you. People should read the scriptures. Um, People should definitely read the scriptures and understand what it says. But I have another argument for you, Swati. I reckon that it doesn't matter if you don't follow religions. You know, we like to call them religion. I would argue that feminism is a religion. I would argue that liberalism is a religion. I would argue that secular humanist is a religion. We like to think of religion, even though you know an atheist would say, "Nah, these are ideologies. It's not religion because it doesn't have a deity." I would say it's a religion. You're going to follow something in. If you're not a Christian, you're going to follow something. All right, and it's usually whatever is mostly promoted by the majority. Okay, in society, you're going to end up following some kind of ideology, whether it's forget about whether people should follow religion. People seem to think religions are only Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, and all of that type of stuff. Trust me, when I look at people today, I would say that most are indoctrinated by the feminist religion. Have you ever heard a woman speak and then you ask her, "Are you a feminist?" And she says no, but every word out of her mouth comes from feminism, comes from what feminism teaches. And yet, if you ask her, she'll say, "No, I'm not a feminist." It's called indoctrination. And I would argue that most people today are following some kind of religion. And if it's not Christianity, if it's not Islam, it's definitely feminism, liberalism, secularism, one of them. Yeah, it's not just the Bible that was edited. Other Eastern religions had their whole scriptures changed to make them seem less than Eastern. If I'm brutally honest, religion is a propaganda word. As far as I'm concerned, if you're following a religion, you're probably not because it's a way of life. I would say religion just means a group of people that believe in a deity. All right. So if you've got a group of people that believe, I would put it down as this: that this is what really religion is. It's a group of people that believe in the same thing. That's it. That's why I say feminism is a religion, because you got a group of people that believe in the same feminist values. All right. They believe in 50-50 relationships. They believe in abortions. They believe in, do you understand what I'm saying? They all think in the same way. Yeah. So that that is what a religion is: a group of people that believe in the same thing and they follow it. That's it. We've got atheist churches, by the way. Did you know that? Go on YouTube and you see now they've got atheist churches now. The consequences of removal, the consequences, the Bra OG1 says the consequence of removal, they turned Asiatic, Afriatic, and indigenous people off Christianity, as well as some of the successors of the founder of Islam did the same. Mm. Yeah, people pray to ideology or something that allows them to do whatever they want in the moment rather than what they need. That's the difference between revelation and you coming up with your own, you know, your own religion in your head. Me, whenever I hear when people talk of spirituality, when people talk of religion, I usually ask, where's the revelation of that spirituality? Where is it? What does it say? What does it teach? That's usually my reply to it. What does it teach? What does it say? Okay. Like if you look at Christianity, if you look at the Bible, you can read what it says. You can read what it believes. I don't care if people believe in it or don't believe in it. It makes no difference to me. But there's the revelation. It's up to you if you want to accept it or not accept it. But there's a revelation there that you can study, you can see it for yourself. Same thing with Islam. You can see it for yourself. You can read it, you can see it for yourself. But when people talk about certain other spiritualities, I'm always like, okay, well, let me learn about it. Send me something. Let me read it. And then you make up your own mind. But Swati says, but that's an English word, and if you break down what religions are actually called and what translate, you'd see what I mean. E.g., Sikhi in English, Sikh means to learn. It's about always learning. Yeah, I agree with that. So it's about learning, bettering yourself. Hinduism is actually called Sanatan Dharma. That means eternal duty. Yeah, I agree with the concept of learning. My religion is not against the concept of learning, and I don't think. Well, I can't speak for every religion because I don't know. I haven't studied in depth every single religion, but my I wouldn't. Are there religions that are against the concept of learning and even the concept of eternal duty? Christianity is definitely not against learning or the concept of eternal duty. If there's an eternal God, then there must be eternal duty, right? So we are definitely not opposed to that idea. But to me, religion, yeah, I mean, yeah, learning, the concept of learning, but religion is about really and truly a group of people coming together. And if you just think about that for a second, what would get them to come together? It's the concept of learning, right? Because they are learning something and they are teaching it, and other people are learning. That's what will make other people believe in what people are saying. All right. And so they come together. So, yeah. So, I mean, look, all I would say to people is study, read. If you care about the outcomes of your choices, if you care about that, forget about the consequences, because what you believe in has is, I would say, 90%. It contributes 90% to what happens in your life. So it's very important to, I would say, to understand, what is it that you actually believe in? What do I actually believe in? It's very important to understand that. And what are my moral values? Is there a God? And so on. Is You have to come to some kind of understanding. You have to, you know, and if you don't, then you're just going to follow the trend. You're going to follow the majority, because there's always a hierarchy, and the powers that be have an agenda as well. The powers that be, if you don't do your due diligence and learn about what is right and what is wrong, what is moral, what is immoral, if there a God, is there not, what you should follow, what not to follow. If you don't do that, then believe me, you're going to end up following someone else's ideology. You're going to end up following the trend. You're going to start following the majority. And that's what's happening to a lot of people. They've abandoned God and now they are following the majority. And we can see what the powers that be are basically promoting. They are promoting hedonism. They are promoting violence. They are promoting the breakdown of the family. They are promoting everything that leads to self-destruction. In the Bible, we saw what happened with Noah and what do you call it, and Sodom and Gomorrah. God had enough of it and destroyed it. Bettering yourself. Apocalypto shows the fall. The bruh says, OG, what? Apocalypto shows the fall of a Maya city state falling as the leader knows science and use it to take advantage and still rule as they don't believe in what they worship. Yeah, yeah, I need to watch that actually. I need to watch that. They don't know what they make their people worship in the movie. Oh, guys, all I'm saying is um be careful. Be careful what you believe in. Study. Because you will follow something. You will worship something. I would argue that most people don't actually know what they worship in today. I would argue that most people are worshiping demonic entities, but they don't even know. I believe, look, I believe that, I'll tell you one thing, yeah. I believe that abortion is a form of child sacrifice. And it's a subconscious, it's a way to subconsciously prepare you for what's coming in the future. That's what abortion really is. It's um if you look at the cultures back in the days and all of that type of stuff a long time, thousands of years ago, they used to offer, I don't know if you guys know the occult, but they sacrifice babies in order to be demonically possessed. And I believe that the powers that be are psychologically manipulating people into accepting child sacrifice. um so that's, abortion is, that is child sacrifice. Watch I forgot, is it Nefarious? There's a movie out now called Nefarious on YouTube. Go and get that and watch that. They don't know what they make their people worshiping. Ancient Babylon Tower and Noah, those people fell to natural disasters and neighbor. Ancient Babylon Tower and Noah, those people fell to natural disaster and neighbors. That's yeah. We believe, we in the Bible believe that the world, God judged the world, and that's what happened to Noah. That's like, that's the Christian version of it. But most cultures record there being a flood. Most cultures, this is not just in the Bible. This is actually, most cultures record there being a flood. Those Maya states that followed the Aztecs got humbled and fell to neighbors and colonial powers. That's true. That's true. That's true. That's true. Um, but yeah, guys, listen, man. This is my first time doing live. This is my first time doing uh this live thing, this, streaming live. I'm gonna be doing this about 5 times a week. I'm going to be doing this regularly. So this is the next step I'm going to be taking. Yeah, I just want to thank you guys for joining me on this live, and yeah, and I hope you guys keep joining me, and and we keep interacting and putting this information out there, because I think the Western world especially needs it. Um, if we're not here to save this, if we're not here to save the Western world, then we are here to destroy it. There can only be two options. What we can't be is neutral. So so I believe that these conversations help. I believe that, I mean, if it can change, someone else, if it can help someone else out there, these conversations, then we've done our job. So I believe, and so actually I actually like this, because you get to interact with people and discuss these issues with you guys live. So yeah, guys, thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you next time, guys. Yeah, all right. Peace to Swati Godpreet. Peace to the bruh OG1. Love. More reactions to come. More streams to come. I'm going to be streaming regularly, guys. So watch out for that. All right. All right, guys. Take care. Peace.